Hi everybody, I hope you guys are doing great today. This is going to be a February read for the whole month, okay? And I am going to break it out into weeks as we go along. And for each week, I'm going to get into the specifics of the minutia kind of transits, but right now I want to just talk about the largest things that are happening in the sky, and then I'm going to get into the specifics for each sign. So each of the signs are going to have this part of the video front loaded, and I'm going to timestamp below. So if you're not interested in listening to the astrology, that's totally fine. Just check out the description box and just fast forward to whatever time is indicated that the tarot is going to start being pulled. Okay, we do have a lot of things going on this month though worth talking about. So let's start with February 3rd. Mercury is entering into Pisces. So it's going to be there from the 3rd until the 4th of March. And when Mercury is in Pisces, our thinking processes are more visual, more imaginative, more intuitive. We are especially in tune to our emotions, which ends up inflecting and coloring both our thoughts and the way we communicate. So, we express ourselves with imagery and we make decisions very intuitively. Our intuition is going to be really turned up. So we're definitely going to feel more of an affinity to things that are consciousness raising, during that transit. Then on the 7th, we have Venus entering Aries. So Venus is going to be in Aries from the 7th all the way to March 4th as well. And in Aries, love is very spontaneous and direct. Like the chase is very exciting to us under this influence. Just think about Aries. Think about Venus, right? With this thing that we love, our connection with money, right? And Aries, which is the Emperor energy, right? Which is about, I want to just get it done now, So we're both very it's an exciting energy because we're both bold and motivated, but a little impatient when it comes to areas having to do with relationships, intimate relationships, any sort of matters of the heart. The funny thing with this energy though is, guys, like with Aries energy underneath this, we don't look back with Aries energy. We're not interested in saying sorry or dwelling on the past. It's like a brand new day. What's done is done. The toothpaste is out of the tube, as I always say, right? It's time to make things work right now and not really focus on everything that happened in the past. Because Aries is known for love of the chase, right? And the conquest. But Aries love can be very long-standing nonetheless, as long as it remains pretty fresh and exciting, right? But also in this energy, remember, Aries is very blunt. Like there's no sugarcoating with Aries, which is actually what most of us love about Aries. The thing is, this can sting. Now, we could be this way to other people can be this way to us, but rarely is this Aries energy mean or petty or vindictive. It's not like that. It's more about just saying it like it is important in this energy, because it's a very Aries-driven energy. Desires are strong and expressed very spontaneously, enthusiastically, and very directly, because Aries prefer to get right to the point. They prefer to seduce rather than to be seduced, to chase rather than be chased. It's very kind of like up front and center, and we're all going to kind of be feeling it, very strongly. Now, those of us who were tuned in, we're going to be able to recognize that energy, and we can take opportunity with it, because it's all kind of good, really exciting. Then on February 9th, we have the full moon in Leo. So this marks the beginning of a new cycle. Okay, the rule of the moon is the sun. So the phase of the moon is occurring at 20 degrees and 0 minutes of Leo, affecting people born with personal planets and points at approximately like 15, 16 to 24, 25 degrees of the fixed sign. So that would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, the most significantly. We're all going to be feeling it, but especially those placements. And here, in this energy, you're going to feel safe in moments when you feel like you can impress others and get some kind of praise and some sort of admiration, some sort of attention. But yet when you get into the spotlight, or you're getting that attention that you swore you wanted, You might find yourself at a loss for words or feeling uncomfortable. So just be careful and clear with yourself about what you really actually even want right now from a person or a situation. Because this can be a time we should all be admitting to any fears of criticism and really looking at our ability or inability to accept criticism right now. It's very, very important to accept feedback during this energy, to use it for improvement right now, right? In whatever area of life that's impacting you in. Now, for many of us, this full moon will peak on a Sunday too, emphasizing the role of soul in the horoscope. And while the Aquarian sun, right, because it's what it is, isn't making any major aspects to other planets besides Mars, his ruler, is aligned with the nodal axis and Mercury. Okay, so we have this Aquarius sun, which is the only air sign present, but there's plenty of fire with the moon, Mars, and Venus all in this warm element. But it can end up feeling kind of restrictive or suffocating, since fire needs air to burn brightly, right? But it also has a habit of consuming all the oxygen. You follow? So it's uncomfortable and it's like a disjointed energy. So you may just feel like a little off, right, during this time. Just like a little off, like a little left of center, a little restricted, where you're starting to feel this restlessness because you're starting to feel this change. And guys, when I said that January was like, step 1, round 1, this is step 2, round 2. We are really in a very definitive way moving forward. So there's this restlessness that's going to be really starting to poke at us, okay? Now on the 16th of February, we have Mars entering Capricorn. And this is Mars is in Capricorn from the 16th to the 30th of March. And Mars in Cap is debilitated. It's very deliberate energy here. We consider the future and the consequences before taking action during this cycle. So our energy is reliable and it's very faithful. We're very slow to anger, but it can be really, really cold if we're frustrated, if we're feeling frustrated, where we kind of go into like shutdown mode. Because the shadow side of this energy, like the shadow side of Mars in Capricorn, is being very rigid, very single-minded, very narrow focus in a very narrow way. So it's just something that we want to keep in mind. And then on the 16th, we have Mercury turning retrograde in Pisces. Okay, here we go again, guys. But you know what? We can't sweat Mercury going retrograde. It's literally retrograde half our life. And it's like that for a reason. And it's not a big deal. It's really not. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Mercury retrograde, it's a time of everything. Revisiting things that you started in the past, renewing things, anything, okay? What you don't want to do, if you can help it, is to start anything brand spanking new. Like, not the best energy to start a brand new relationship, because typically the energy does not support like a strong foundation being built. Same thing with the job or whatever. But you know what? Listen, the truth of the matter is, if we really look at what we're doing, for example, if you got a job, you've been waiting for this job and it comes in during Mercury retrograde, don't be crazy. Take the job. Just make sure you read the fine print, because what can end up happening is it ends up not rolling out initially the way you were first told or you first thought. Same thing with a relationship. Things end up not being how they first presented themselves, okay? But we can't stop life, okay? But this is a very different kind of Mercury retrograde, I think, in Pisces. It's going retrograde at 12 degrees of Pisces. So it's going to be retrograde from February 16th to March 9th at 28 degrees Aquarius. But the shadow begins February 2nd and ends March 29th. So it's kind of like a long transit, really, if you think about it. And really here in Pisces and Aquarius, the water signs are emotional and sentimental, and the Pisces and Aquarius natives are also very full of imagination right now, like big time. Confusion, lots of emotions rising up to the top, right? Everybody's going to be up in their feels, because think about Mercury doesn't actually go backwards. It sort of just stops this movement, right? So it's like hanging there in Pisces, which is the most mature water sign, right? It's the most mature out of all the water signs. It's very deep, ruled by who? Ruled by Neptune. I mean, it's just like this deep, earthy, dreamy energy. So there's going to be a lot of feelings going on here. And there is difficult compatibility between Mercury and Pisces, but even more challenging with the retrograde motion of Mercury in Aquarius. Is with Mercury retrograde in the water signs, we can expect some revisions of the unconscious emotional patterns of thinking that we've been holding. Like, what makes you feel secure? What makes you feel insecure? Where do your allegiances lie? And when do you tend to react out of habit without thinking? Mercury retrograde in Pisces or Aquarius will make you aware of these things, allowing you to correct them, to do some really deep psychological healing, which is really good, but you just need to be prepared to be up in your fields, right? Because then on the 18th, we have the sun entering Pisces. And this is going to be from the 18th of February to March 19th. And with the sun in Pisces, we're guided by very altruistic feelings. We're less motivated to do than we are to feel and to imagine and dream. And, you know, it's kind of like that Que Sera Sera song, you know, it's like whatever will be, like whatevs, you know. We're guided by our sense of like these universal connections. Pisces rules empathy and selfless love and devotion and wisdom. Its shadow side rules self-pity and a feeling of being victimized by life and elusiveness and passivity. So we want to just make sure that we're really functioning in our highest vibration, because if you are by any chance, because everybody's in a different place in their life, if you're feeling these things, just really just understand it's just that sun placement, right? In Pisces, it's going to pass, but try to figure out a way of pivoting yourself out of that. Okay, now we do have the Jupiter sextiling Neptune on the 20th. Jupiter at 17 degrees, Capricorn 45 forms a sextile to Neptune at 17 degrees, Pisces 45. You know, I like this. This is the first set of 3 that we're going to have of this Jupiter sextile Neptune. So this is the first one, right? And then the second one's going to be in July, on the 27th of July. And the third is going to be in October 12th. So with this longer term aspect, idealistic and dreamy goals or impulses end up surfacing now, okay? They come up to the surface now. Making connections with others from different backgrounds or who just... I mean, I think is what ends up really showing up more than anything is people who live differently from us can show up in our life right now. And what ends up happening is we widen our minds through unusual or different experiences that we have through other people, and that could just be part of our story during this time. You know, it's like practical things take a back seat during this energy. And we're feeling very generous and very compassionate. Our faith is boosted. So I think this is really, really positive. We're definitely more inclined to make personal sacrifices for what we believe to be the higher good for those people or situation in our lives. So that is a really beautiful aspect that's so nice to have as support as we go into this new moon on February 23rd. Because the new moon in Pisces on the 23rd is very special, yet it could feel like a foggy one. With Pisces playing host to both Neptune, right, the moon's ruler, and Mercury retrograde, the traditional ruler of Pisces is Jupiter, for those of you who aren't sure. And some of you guys actually mentioned that I was incorrect in saying that that Neptune rules Pisces, and you know, no, Neptune does rule Pisces now. Jupiter there's been a lot of changes in astrology. That's why I say astrology is very similar to religion in certain ways, right? Because we have different systems, different beliefs, but we're all kind of going for the same thing, right? Pisces, so the traditional ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. So we do still kind of consider that in there when we're thinking about things. Now 18 degrees Capricorn aligned with the modern ruler Neptune at 17 degrees, but it's going to be squaring to Venus at 18 degrees of Aries. Okay, so remember that Venus governs our relationships, finances, confidence, things we love to do for pleasure. So these things could feel challenging with this square at the new moon. And yet, despite the tension in the stars, this is still a sweetly aspected and productive new moon to work with, because Mars has left Sagittarius and now joins the South Node in Capricorn, the last in a long line of planets to connect with this karmic point of shifts and goodbyes. So this indicates some final pushes, guys, removals and eradications that are underway. It's a wonderful detox energy of letting go of that dead wood that I've been talking about. It's all being set in motion here, right? So this is all about stage 2. You know, this is good. This is good. And Mars perfectly aligns with this new moon, as well as the nodal axis in Uranus too. So this is all about synchronicity right now in very easy formation, allowing us to invoke the change that we've all been working on with less pain. It's just not going to be as difficult as it's been to release things from our lives. Okay, and that's just something that we're all just generally going to be going through. Okay, and as I go through each week with each of the signs, I'm going to be getting more specific with house placements and whatnot. But right now, I'm just going to go right into pulling for your sign, just the tarot messages for the month of February 2020. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you on the other side. Hi, Taurus. Thank you so much for hanging with me. Let's get right into this. I'm going to pull your Oracle, Crowning Oracle, the Rebel Tarot. Guys, don't see general messages. Try not to make them fit if they don't. Remember, the energy could always be vice versa. Definitely check for your rising sign, moon sign, and Venus. Remember, your rising sign is really the most important, right? It has to do with your personality and how you see and engage with the world and how the world engages with you, right? It's a very important placement there. So I'm going to check them all. Okay, any messages for Taurus? Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. January of 2020. Any messages for Taurus? Be the hunted, not the hunt. Be the hunter, not the hunted. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good energy. I like it. Yeah. I mean, this is like, do you feel that you're at the beck and call of circumstances right now, Taurus? Like any situations or relationships that are outside of your control? Is your attention being called away from what you love, from focusing on your own life and what it is that you need to do? Because it's like you're feeling roped into becoming some sort of support or savior, you know, for other people in your life, but in an excessive way. There's a big difference between being healthy supportiveness in a relationship, you know, and which includes healthy self-support, but ignoring your own journey out of misplaced guilt and shame or unworthiness or belief that the need of others are more important than your own. Now that part's unhealthy, you know, that's where the imbalance comes in. So that's not compromising. That's unhealthy and neglectful of yourself. So you're being asked to see through the assumptions or expectations or tantrums or manipulations that may be put on you by yourself or by others, and see through them, you know, see through them and really recognize it and try to make changes there and release that tendency to do that, because you can only release it if you recognize it. So first of all, so if there are any friends in your life that are really draining you, anybody at work, even if this is your intimate partner, somebody in your family, they're just really draining you, you know, you really need to kind of snap out of that old patterning and just respond in a different way in order to improve the relationship, because they do get that it's really tapping out your energy reserves here, right? It's really tapping you guys out, just being that go-to person. And you know, Taurus does fall victim of that a lot. Fall victim. I mean, I guess you just, you know, naturally fall into that because you're just this beautiful earth sign ruled by Venus, for goodness sake. I mean, who doesn't love a Taurus, you know? You know, and you just happen to be this person who people can count on and rely on, you know, and which is fine, and that's wonderful, but it can't be at the expense of your own stuff, you know. And sometimes we know that and we could tell ourselves that, but it's really hard to say no, you know, if somebody's in need or somebody's hurting or something like that. but then you need to get out your barometer and say, okay, how serious, is this kind of thing that I'm dealing with here? But this energy is about really protecting yourself, really needing to protect yourself. So I'm going to pull the energy, guys, and I'm going to interpret them having to do with relationship, career, friendships, or family connections. So however it's resonating, right? Because not everyone's in a relationship. Not everybody's working. Not everybody has family connections that they deal with, friends, all that. All right, so let's get right into this. So right now, the current situation we have is the Five of Pentacles reversed. So this is you feeling like you're not getting the support that you need. Now, if this is in a relationship of any kind, this is you feeling mentally, physically, and emotionally unsupported. If this has to do with a job, this could indicate that you're just not making enough money at this job and you're not getting the support that you need from like the higher ups in order to bring yourself to the place that you really would like yourself to end up at in this job. But it is this idea of lacking in support. And it's a very mental energy. Five of Pentacles really is more of a mindset of lack. And in the reverse, it's feeling really this lack, this feeling left out, this feeling disconnected, this feeling of being discounted. And there's a vibe of disrespect about this as well, because it's a Mercury and Taurus energy. Okay, so Mercury is all about communication. Taurus is obviously it's you guys, right? But it's a pentacle energy, and it has to do with the mental, physical, emotional connection, or it can be finances, right? But in the reverse, it's that there's a lack of this thing coming in. There's a lack of this communication. Now, for many of you, because it is a Mercury in you, this could be you guys feeling very not in touch enough, fully being honest with yourself about a person or a situation. Okay, because it's a reverse of Mercury and Taurus, which is about just being in the stagnant state. And remember, anything with the Mercury vibe this month, because we do have Mercury retrograde, it's going to be this kind of pressed in neutral situation where there's not going to be forward movement. There could be effective revisiting of past things that have led up to this feeling. But I feel like, right now in this energy, you guys are going to be in a space of trying to tap into like why you guys feel like this exactly. Why do you feel this sense of feeling invisible, this lack of support? And then we have the Empress energy, which is crossing you. This is very benefic energy. This is all about growth and expansion. I mean, the Empress is the mother of the tarot. She's perpetually pregnant, and she's always growing things and ruled by Venus. Now, Venus is applicable to both relationships, intimate relationships particularly, and jobs and career, because Venus does rule our relationship with money, but Venus is also about our love space and what we love to do. So you're being crossed by this desire to grow, yet you feel this sense of disconnect and lack. So it's this divisiveness here that's internal, and it's giving you this Five of Cups. I mean, this is the crowning energy. So the Five of Cups is really focusing on those Three of Cups that are down, not really seeing those Two of Cups that are standing behind. So let's just break that down. It's recognizing the cups in front of him that are spilled. So it's Mercury and Cancer. If we break it down into 3 and 2. So the Three of Cups that are spilled. So Three of Cups is a Mercury and Cancer energy. So there's more Mercury here. So Mercury is retrograde and in Cancer. So this is about, Cancer is all about home and love, right? It's also the Chariot. It's about moving forward. The cups are spelt. So there's no communication in what is speaking to the heart space, or what is necessary for moving forward, right? just focusing on whatever happened, really getting in the way of this forward movement in this space. But then we have what's still standing is these 2 cups. And the 2 of cups is Venus in Cancer. So Venus in Cancer is right behind you, right? So it's a matter of recognizing that these cups are right behind you, recognizing what the love or the value that's left still in the situation. But it's very hard for you to do that because you're very much in this space of lack and feeling that you're not able to have this Venus, but it's right behind you. You're just not seeing it. This is a very mental energy, Taurus. I have to tell you, 5 of Pentacles, you're feeling the lack, but it's more mental than in reality. Same thing with the 5 of Cups. Focusing on the bad and having a hard time extracting the good out of something. Then we have the Page of Wands in reverse. So this is page is it's like a new, any page is a new cycle within something that's existing already, right? So this is an earth of the suit of fire. So this is an earthy energy. So this is a practical, like a pentacle energy, but with fire. So it's like, come on, let's do this connection. Let's feel excited about getting on this new cycle together, entering this next cycle together. You know, but the thing is to enter this next cycle, but it's in reverse. So you're not feeling like you can enter this next cycle because you're focused on the 3 of Cups that are spilled. Not recognizing those 2 of Cups. And then we have the actual 2 of Cups here, Venus in Cancer, in reverse, in your past. So I feel like there's a definitive connection here between this 5 of Cups energy with these 2 of Cups still standing here, but you not recognizing it. Because in the past you had the 2 of Cups in reverse. Now, this can mean a number of things. Yes, it can mean infidelity within a relationship, but it could also mean just feeling like just closed off from each other emotionally, a lack of support. Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't have to be cheating. I don't want to run to that because these are general messages, but it certainly can. But it's absolutely feeling kind of failed by somebody in the heart space. Now, this could absolutely have to do with a friend, where a friend, you were really good friends with somebody and they just started going off the deep end and just demanding so much of you, and they were draining you. Okay, absolutely. That could be for a friend or a family situation. This could also be for career, where it was like taking your last breath. You were working way too much. They were demanding just way too much. And you just started to feel very unsupported and that you weren't going to grow in the way you needed to. And you were very much tapping into the negative aspects here. Absolutely. So you, in the present situation, this is for you now, not the situation. This is you, the 10 of Wands energy in reverse. So the reverse with the Wands energy just means it's increased feelings of exhaustion, of hurt, of just feeling like done. This is like the absolute lacking of will to move forward anymore in a situation, in this relationship, in this job, in this friendship. Like, you're done. Like, somebody is just draining you and you're done. And they're not showing up and you feel disrespected. And you don't feel it and you just don't want to be in it anymore. It's in the end of a cycle. But this is the thing. Obviously, you still have feelings for this person or the situation, whether it's this job, desire to stay in this job, desire to still be in this friendship, this relationship, for sure. We have the 8 of Swords as the external influence to you, okay? So somebody is really feeling very upset about the situation that's going on with you. Because this is an external influence to you. So whoever it is that you're having this dynamic with, they're having a hard time because, again, this is external to you. So you're feeling a lot of stress as you're putting down these 10 of Wands because it's the end of a cycle. And the person or the situation that you're dealing with, it has themselves in a space of self-imprisonment. So everybody's upset here. And your fear is the King of Wands in reverse, right? This is your fear. This is a Cancer and Leo energy. So you could be dealing with a Cancer or a Leo, but I mean, Cancer, you're afraid that you're not going to have this forward movement that's going to end up being home to you, because it's about Cancer. And Leo is a fire energy, which is, Wands about moving forward. And this is your fear about not ending up in a space that feels like, you know what I mean by home. It's the metaphorical home, not the actual home. It could be the actual home, but it doesn't have to be. It depends on the situation. But that applies even for a job or even for a friend, Even in deep friendships, friends for a long time, and then all of a sudden, I mean, this has happened to me so many times, and so many people I know, where out of nowhere somebody becomes exceedingly needy, exceedingly clingy, exceedingly negative, and you're there for them, and it just gets to a point where it's like your reserves are dry, for the situation. And it happens to the best of us. So that can be happening with a relationship, even a family connection, certainly a job, certainly an intimate relationship. But there's a sadness here for you, Taurus. There's no question, because we have 8 of Cups in the reverse, which indicates you're walking away, but there is such a missing, and you're not able to let go of that final piece. This is a very emotional reading here, I have to tell you, because then we have the Tower energy as the future in the reverse, which is the same as in the upright. It's just with more intense emotions. And the Tower is about the coming down of something that we believed in at one point as a real steady and as a real solid in our life that wasn't supposed to come down, and it did. It could be the ending of that job or that friendship, that family connection, or that relationship. And there's a lot of emotion involved in this. But this is the thing, guys. This thing was not meant for your path beyond this point. It served its purpose up to this point. It's just not meant for your higher good. And that's a tough pill to swallow, is it not? Of course it is. It's tough. Especially when we don't want something to fall apart, especially when we're not ready for it to fall apart. I mean, we're ever really ready for these things? And the thing is, this can even be very, very painful, even if you were the one to incite it, even if you were the one who put an end to something. Now, this can also be the tearing down of an outdated set of ideas and ideals, a way of thinking that you internally, inside of you, Taurus, you need to update. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be anything out in the 3D. This can certainly be an internal energy where something's just not serving you anymore. A certain way of being isn't serving you anymore, and you're recognizing it. You need to change. You need to update. Right? You need to bring yourself to this space where you're just more evolved from what you've been giving out and from what you've been taking in. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely an ending. There's no question. There's no question. But whoever it is that you're dealing with, and this is what's interesting, a little different than I've been getting in any of the other readings, because I've, getting lots of towers, I have to tell you, for February. There's a lot of culmination, a lot of things ending that don't belong in our life anymore. But I do have to say, it's very interesting here. I feel like this is very much a soul, like a soul connection, a soulmate connection, even if this is having to do with work, where there are lessons that were learned here. I mean, all lessons are lessons that we needed to learn, but there was a very important lesson to be learned here, because we have you being the 10 of Wands, and then we have the other person being the 8 of Wands upright. It's like this pain and this self-imprisonment by the two of you. Now, the reason why I think that's important is because I always say, with the Tower energy, if something ended, and because this is tarot, this is tarot, this isn't like, the golden rule here. This is energy. This is the energy that's available to us. And this indicates the direction that the energy is going in, okay? If something falls apart, and I mean falls apart, like Tower is like, okay, it cannot continue the way it was. Okay. If we're ending something with somebody though, and they're equal ilk to us, I always say, like if they're in the same headspace, if they have the same amount of love or want or desire for a situation to be rebuilt, there's no reason it can't be rebuilt. There's no reason. None. If you have two equal participants who are on the same page with the same amount of passion and love to rebuild something, and this goes for a family connection, a friendship, an intimate connection, even a job. If everybody recognizes, okay, you know what, it's been like really messy up to this point, it's been unhealthy, toxic, let's have this conversation and let's see how we can do things on a completely different road, totally different trajectory. It's not always possible, but if you're, the only reason, I mean, I always like to say that, but I actually truly feel that because I feel this incredible pain from two people here. So I'm not getting that there's pain on one side and the other person is off with somebody else or whatever. I'm not getting that. I'm just not. So I do feel like, yeah. Yeah, nice. Beautiful. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, you guys just felt like, listen, you felt like there wasn't going to be any growth in this situation. You started to just feel a lack of motivation to move forward. You just didn't want to do it anymore. So it was a Pisces and Aries energy. It was in reverse. Where Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Neptune's all about our dreams. Like your dreams are just not going to be moving forward. Not working out here. Then we have in the center of these guys, we have the King of Swords. Capricorn and Aquarius energy, and this is all about hard work, doing things different. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Uranus is all about doing things different. Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. Saturn's all about hard work. Let's do this. Let's do it different. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Chariot, let's go. Let's move it forward. Let's move towards that Cancer space that's all about home and love. Metaphorically or literally, it doesn't matter. Again, going towards that right path, back on that right path, and really approaching everything from a Queen of Cups space. Beautiful. This is Gemini and Cancer energy. Absolutely beautiful. Communicating about how this is going to happen, right? Communicating, Gemini and Cancer. This is Cancer energy. Communicating about how this can happen, how the forward movement's going to happen, what that home space is going to feel like, look like, be like, and taking a calculated risk. Throwing caution to the wind, and this is a really positive energy. We love it. We love the Fool. The Fool is Uranus. The Fool is doing things differently. Yeah. Yeah, I knew there was a reason I needed to backtrack on that a little bit. This is all about doing things differently. Total revamping of a relationship here, Taurus. Friendship, family connection, intimate relationship, or job. There is one element in your life that is being completely transformed here. Good? Beautiful. I like it for you. I like it for you. Very good. Those of you in the love space. Now, Celtic cross spread doesn't have to do with the love. That could have been your job, family connection, friendship. Let's pull a couple of love oracles, whispers of love, and then we'll pull some more time wellness, see what we got. Speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change lives, including your own. Love is all around you. There is love everywhere all the time. Simply acknowledge this is truth. Turn on your heart light. Reflect on a time when you experienced love. Those are nice. Beautiful. Okay. Love is all around you. There's love everywhere all the time. Turn on your heart light. Reflect on a time when you experienced love. Yeah, because I feel like some of you might have like closed yourself off temporarily. So I do like those. Speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change lives. Oh, you guys are going to be doing a lot of talking. If that Celtic cross spread resonated with you as love, if it resonated with you as love, yeah. Let's pull some Island Time Wellness and see what we get. Stabbed in the back. Passion. Mask. Separation. So, stabbed in the back, heartbreak, pain, separation, deception, shocking attack. I mean, guys, we had, we had the Tower there. Separation, sadness, missing you, thinking about you, yearning, unsure of future. Mask, not showing true feelings. Hide, personify, pretending, gaslighting, deluding. Passion, and seeing chemistry, like each other equally, having fun. The Grim Reaper, the relationship is over, no second chances. Grow and transform your life. The Runner in a codependent relationship, fear of intimacy, listening to ego. Not enough, frustrated in relationship, lack of confidence, self-sabotage, fear, ego issues, jealousy. Okay, so now let's come back up here. Turn on your heart light. Reflect on a time when you experienced love. Okay. Yeah, I mean, lots of shutdown energy there, right? Love is all around you. There's love everywhere all the time. Simply acknowledges this truth. It's very hard when we're in a space of pain in our heart to recognize that. It just is. It just is. It's very hard. Then we have speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change lives, including your own. Yeah. I mean, this is about really getting back in touch with what love is, what healthy love is. Healthy love. There's a lot of pain here. I feel like a lot of you guys went through something that was very, very painful. Now, I do also want to say that the Celtic cross spread energy could be for a relationship for some of you, and this could be a reading, a relationship read for somebody else. Guys, that's just the way tarot works. I mean, it's not a personal reading, right? You understand that. So somebody here has been, some Taurus out there has been very closed off. And you're really being pushed to get back in touch with what's true for you. Really getting out of old pattern thinking, getting in touch with what love is, and really just recognizing that you've been through a lot of pain. There's been a lot of pain. Yeah. All right. Taurus, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way, and I will see you guys next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.